ladies, and any gentlemen who dare. Welcome to the boudoir. Welcome to the luxuriously romantic affairs, where every day is a grand romance and we celebrate the beauty that life is. My name is Shirley Ann Aphrodite. I am your hostess, hopefully your muse, and I have the most exquisite, the most inspiring muse as our guest today, Krystle Ada Epum, who is a poet and not just a poet of the written word. You would think that would be enough. She's a poet of the written word and also a, a poet of a poet who, oh my God, my tongue is twisted. A woman who creates a visual poetry with her own self as the most exquisite work of art. So welcome, Krystle.
Thank you so much, Shirley. Happy to be here in your boudoir, in my boudoir, with all the ladies watching. So it's just an honor to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Oh, thank you. I'm so happy to have you as our very first guest.
Exciting.
I don't think I would have pulled the plug if I didn't have you as our first guest to have this to launch this conversation. So thank you.
Yes, of course. Thank you. I'm honored to be your first guest. How special.
It means the whole entire world to me that you're here. So, where do we begin? For obviously the audience does not know you and love you as I do. So let's tell us about you as a woman. Tell us about yourself.
Yes, so I am a poet, and what I consider to be a creative visionary. So I write poetry, I do poetry films, I create artistic, poetic images, either things that I've shot myself, or I'll work with other filmmakers or photographers to create my vision. So that's kind of my whole little world that I'm creating, is this like romantic poetic world through poetry and film.
That's beautiful. And what a world you have created. For our audience, I'm going to put Krystle's Instagram link and some of her incredible visuals in the show notes so that you can see what we're talking about and why she's our first guest. So we're talking a lot about creativity here. What inspires you to create this beautiful romantic world that you've created?
Well, I have a love for fashion film.
Okay.
I'm not sure if you're familiar with that as a.
I am.
Yeah. So, yeah, for those of you who aren't familiar, they are films that are centered around seasonal campaigns. So you might be familiar with Gucci's fragrance sort of fashion films that they create. Vera Wang does very popular fashion films. So when I started looking at these campaigns, I thought to myself, I want to be the girl in films. and and I just like, there are fashion shows that I've been to where the music, instead of it being music, there's someone who's sort of speaking over a track of music. So it's like this poetic expression that comes with fashion. And so for me, I noticed these things and tried to, well, I guess I'm working on putting all of these things together: the poetry, the fashion, the film, and creating this source of beauty and love that I can share with the world. So that's where my inspiration comes from.
I love that, because aren't we so lucky in our world today? There was a time when you couldn't be the star. You'd have to be a 6 foot tall model, size zero in order to be the star of a campaign,
Mhm.
of a fashion campaign. And
Yeah.
now we get to, you are the embodiment, you are the example of the fact that we can create ourselves as these works of art.
Mhm.
We can create these stories and these films and these photographs and share them. It, it's incredible the
Mhm.
opportunity we have today
Yeah.
to create ourselves and our lives as these works of art. So you are definitely a muse for us
Oh,
in
thank
this area. So tell me, I remember the first time I encountered you on Instagram. It's like, oh my God, who is this?
you.
I haven't, I feel like I'm this lone star with my head in the clouds walking the earth and
Yes.
nobody understands me.
Yeah.
And then I come across you and I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm not alone, So tell me, what's it like being, I know you're an incurable romantic
Mhm.
like myself.
Yes.
How does it feel to be this goddess walking the earth with,
Oh, wow.
with your head in the clouds? I'm serious. I want to know what your experience has been.
Yes. Very similar to your experience of feeling a little bit alone in
Mm-hmm.
this
Hmm.
world, especially because I can't understand how well, yeah, I would say some people choose to live their life um, without love being at the center of it all. It's very hard for me to fathom. Um, but you just sort of, you just have to live your own life, and if you come across certain people, don't let their energy interfere with the beauty that you have for yourself and that you're expressing with the world. So that's kind of how I cope with things.
Of course, my aspirations, my desire for these conversations that we're having is not to transform anyone or to change anyone, but to attract, to be a home for like minds and like hearts. I long for this to be a home where we all feel at home and
Yes.
feel
There
heard.
was, I went to an open mic night a few years
Oh,
ago.
oh my God. Did you perform or you were a guest?
That particular time,
Okay.
I was just a guest,
Mm-hmm.
but there was this one gentleman who was reading, and he brought up a very good point in his poem. And he mentioned how, people say that the internet's bad because there's so much negativity on the internet. And he said that's the only place where you can find your people,
Yes.
right? So
Mhm.
you could find, the example he gave was, um, I love dressing up like a squid, and then you find someone else who loves dressing up like a squid too. It's
I
just,
love that. Mhm.
you you go from having this small world, which is the city in which you live, the
Mhm.
community in which you
Mhm.
um, you participate in, and then the internet expands
Yes.
who we have in our lives. It brings us our people.
Oh my goodness.
We're not able to see them in real life. We can connect. I mean, look at us now.
Today, yes.
It's just amazing. So yeah, it's incredible that you've created this beautiful space for
Mm.
women and the men who dare
There.
to come and just enjoy. Yes.
We're
So
so lucky. We're so lucky. So tell me, wh- where do you get your inspiration from, or what inspires you to create? I don't want, let's talk broadly because we'll go to your poetry next, but what inspires you to create the beauty that you create? Where do you find the single minded vision to create so authentically, so beautifully?
Mm. Well, I find inspiration in daily life,
Mhm.
but the particular things that inspire me can be anything from being in nature,
Mhm.
being surrounded by mountains, hearing water falling, wind blowing through trees,
Mhm.
and and then that extends into even the man-made things that we
Mhm.
experience. So it can be the curves of a building, old architecture,
Mhm.
just everything that's like romantic. um, that's what really inspires me to create. So
And
I
that,
look for that.
yeah,
I look for it everywhere.
and that's evident. It's evident in your creativity. So let's come to your poetry. What inspires you to write?
Yes. Um, Typically, an experience that I've had will kind of get my wheels turning.
Mhm.
um,
Uh-huh.
so yeah, just really like life is so incredibly beautiful.
Mm.
Um, it really is. It's so precious, so sacred. Um,
I have to jump in.
yes.
Um, I've read a lot of your poetry, even things which you haven't published publicly.
Mhm.
And that is a common theme in your
Oh,
work.
really?
It is. It is. When you say life is beautiful, it's true. It's a theme I've seen throughout a number of poems you've written where you talk about the fact that life is so beautiful.
Yeah.
So I love the fact that you said it so that I could be reminded of reading these things sprinkled all over your poetry.
Yes. Thank you. I'm glad you recognize that.
I do. So, um, let's come back. We're talking about poetry now. So let's come to your poetry. What inspires your? No, we talked about your poetry. What inspires you as a woman
Mm.
in this life, as it is? Mhm.
Um, the joys and the special experiences that we have as women
Mhm.
are really what inspire me. Um, One thing that is maybe a little bit unfortunate for men, but very fortunate for us as women, is that we are allowed to express ourselves fully.
Mhm.
So, our emotions,
Mhm.
how we're feeling, what we're thinking, um, physically expressing ourselves, hugging, kissing, all of these things. Um, it's one of the most beautiful aspects of being human. And women are granted the ability to, express ourselves fully.
Absolutely.
So that inspires me to be able to write without fear, without judgment,
Mhm.
and yeah, just to create beautiful things.
I love that you um, you shared the distinction between how women express ourselves and men. I
Mhm.
believe it's not for everyone to believe.
Yeah.
I believe women, we give men the gift of this expression. As we express these emotions and our beauty and our femininity, our curves, men men are able to experience the world through us.
Oh, yes. That's so beautifully said.
Yes, I believe this with all my heart, and this is why
Mhm.
a woman in the fullness of her expression, whether
Mhm.
it's an emotional tantrum or it's, she's in a state of besotted love, whatever it is, she gives a man the gift to experience life through her.
Yes. Wow.
Yeah, I
Um,
believe that. So, yes.
that
So,
is very true.
yes, we have this gift of, um, I feel we give men life
Mm-hmm.
when we are fully expressed as the feminine.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
And so when I think about our theme for our rendezvous over here, the
Yes.
idea of, um, it's not just romanticizing life, but living every day as a grand romance.
Mhm.
I'm going on to dangerous ground, but we'll do this. I've had so many conversations with women. When I talk about romance, they're like, oh no, go and talk to the men. We need the men to be more romantic. Go to the men, go and teach them how to be more romantic. And I keep on saying, no, we're supposed to be their muses.
Mhm. Very
We
true.
are supposed to be the muses to inspire them
Mhm.
to be romantic,
That's true.
right?
Uh-huh.
And so when I look at you and, I see you as the muse, I see you as Psyche. I'm Afro. No, 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 no. I cannot be Aphrodite and you Psyche. That means we'll be enemies. I can't have that. No, we're both Aphrodite. We're both Aphrodite, but I feel through your poetry, through your visual creations, I feel it's an invitation
Mm.
to to soften and, be these women
Mhm.
who could be these gifts to the world.
Yes.
That's how I feel every time I see
Yeah.
it pop up on
Uh,
my Instagram.
mm.
So I have so many questions for you. I don't want to overwhelm you. I look at you. There is such a purity to your expression. There is nothing contrived. You're not doing it for anyone. It's
Mm.
so natural. It's so effortless. Were you born this way? How did you come about this effortless expression of your womanhood, your femininity, your romantic heart?
Yes. Well, it took quite a while to get here, I
Okay.
would say. Um, so this feeling that I have, um, where I am, the sensual woman
Mhm.
and
Very, 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 very sensual woman.
and love femininity and beauty and love. These are things that go back as far as I can remember. Um, but the way in which I express it now and the acceptance of the sensuality aspects
Mhm.
um, took a long time to get here because I, well, because of how I grew up. I grew up in a very conservative Nigerian household um, where expressing your sensuality is not what women do.
Okay.
And my mom, um, this beautiful, like most beautiful woman you'll ever see,
Mhm.
is like the perfect woman in my eyes and the perfect example of a feminine woman, just just beautiful. And so but she wasn't a sensual
Mhm.
woman growing up and not now,
Mhm.
still to this day, but I was. So that was how we were different. I felt that we were similar in a lot of ways, And I was always like so honored when people would tell me that I look just like her.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, but yeah, she was not a sensual person. And so I thought there was something wrong with me
Mhm.
for the longest time.
Mhm.
And I tried to like suppress that part of
Mhm.
myself and just, just kind of be the feminine vision that I thought she was, and to only go by that, um, to try to sort of change these natural feelings that I was having. Um, but that was, the young me, the teenager me. And then as time went on, I started to realize that um, I didn't have to change myself.
Mhm.
Um, I don't have to be exactly like my mom. And the ways in which we are different are beautiful.
Absolutely.
And I feel very fortunate that I've gotten to this point in my life where I feel that I can express myself
Mhm.
without any kind of worry. Um, and I feel that my mom knows me now and she knows this side of me and is totally accepting and loving. And so I'm not sure if that would have been the case as a teenager, but certainly.
I'm very curious about that. So what does that look like? Knowing that she's this conservative, still beautiful embodiment of femininity, and she has this very sensual daughter. What does that look and feel like?
Um, well, I guess you'd have to ask her.
Okay.
From my perspective, I think maybe it's a good balance.
Yeah.
And perhaps there's this side of her as well that she suppressed because she grew up in Nigeria. And, I grew up here in the US. So um, we haven't talked about this directly, but maybe she can live vicariously through me, or
Okay.
she's definitely told me that I inspire her
Oh,
in a lot of different ways.
that's
So I think
beautiful.
that's good.
That's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah.
You're making me think about my own mother.
Mm.
Um, Again, my mother, in my eyes, is the most beautiful woman I will ever know.
Mm.
In contrast, she is very sensual.
Mm.
And so there was a time when I know when I was younger, I used to wonder, could I ever be like my mother?
Yeah.
It's interesting to think about these relationships we have
Mhm.
with our mothers and who we become because of them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very
But
true.
ultimately, we're so lucky, aren't
We are. Yes.
we? So I think um, you've promised to read us some poems.
Oh, yes.
I'm feeling very zen right now, so I think um, would you honor us with a poem or two as we? Yes, it's Valentine's Day, but
Yeah,
um,
I would love to. Um, so I'm working on 2 books of poetry at the moment. Um, but the second book kind of happened by accident because I started writing a book of beauty, and
mhm.
then all these love poems started coming to me. So I
Mm.
decided, well, let me just write a separate
Okay.
book of love.
The one on beauty, and I think I read that on your Instagram. You said there
Yeah.
was one on beauty and one on love. Okay.
So, these 2 poems that I have to share are from the book of love, which fits with, Valentine's Day.
Okay.
So, shall I begin?
Yes, please.
Okay. So this first one is called Bittersweet.
Mm. I'm curious. Mm.
Okay. Pomegranate seeds redden my mouth with the veins of your love. Riverbeds of rose, crushed by the stone of the heart, heavy, longing for the salts of dry oceans to empty my soul into yours. Tears streaming down beaming faces, flushed cheeks of love and despair. Your skin is like the plums of high trees ripening in the sun. I can taste your sweetness, the juices of your flesh, your tongue like the dew of early morning. What more can I ask for than a love that makes harps weep with the sound of midnight stars? I love you like the sighing violets at my window, longing to be in the soil outside. I love you like the last drop of ocean that clings to a shell swept ashore. I love you like the withering vines that grow too far from the flower. I love you with the heart that is not quite whole.
Oh my God. Wow.
That was the first one.
That is so beautiful.
Thank you.
Okay. I don't know if I can take more, but I.
Okay, so this next one is called Newly Acquainted.
Oh. Oh. Okay.
for for all the ladies out there who have a Valentine for the first time, their first date. I hope you enjoy this. Although this one is like, newly acquainted, but not first dates, not a
Okay.
first, but
At the
you
beginning.
kind of get into you're like dating, it's been a few months and you're starting to get familiar with each other.
Oh, that is the most exhilarating time ever.
Yes.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay. The June sun warms our window, the ceiling fan rocking as a slow breeze falls onto our bed, sweeping a strand of hair onto my cheek. Though the day is gentle, I am a storm, my heart of thunder. You touch me and I ache enough to shatter the window and bring the sun in to light our bed ablaze. Our, what knew a word that belongs to you and me, no longer strangers, but I still study the curves of your face, your mouth, my port of pleasure. And as day becomes night, the moon transports us, shaking our mattress into an ocean of storm.
Wow. Okay. This series could possibly go in a very different direction if we continue. If we continue with these poems. Oh my goodness. Oh God, you write so beautifully. Thank you.
Thank
Wow.
you.
Okay, when are these books due? That's one them now.
Oh gosh. Well, I had a little bit of writer's block last year.
Okay.
I was hoping that they would be published by now, but certainly by either this fall or by the end of the year, I should have them.
Oh, I can't wait. Wow.
Yes.
So are you going to be planning a book tour? Your audience needs to see you read, listen, see you, listen to you, be in your presence as you read. What's the plan? I need to know.
Yes. Yes. Book tour, book launch, all of that is kind of like once I have the foundation down, all my poems, then I'll start thinking of what to do next. But yes, definitely want to do a book tour, share this beauty with everyone that I can.
Oh my goodness, I can't wait. I'll be sending you messages every week. Is it ready yet? Is it ready? Honestly, you write so beautifully. I know I'm gushing. I'm gushing with pride and joy and
Wow.
delight.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. So, to wrap up our time together, as
Mhm.
you know, these are the luxuriously romantic affairs.
Mhm.
When I think about a love affair, it's secret.
Yes.
It's, it's in the whispers.
Mhm.
It's not the thing that we broadcast to the world.
Yeah.
So I have these questions for you.
Ooh, question.
Yes. So, can I begin?
Yes, sure.
So, if you were going to have a love affair with a country, what country would that
Oh, God, there's
be?
so many good places to.
Mhm.
I think I'm a traveler, so.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait. I'm glad you raised the fact that you are a traveler because,
Uh-huh.
um, you and I have been discussing this first interview forever.
Mhm.
And one of the things I really wanted us to talk about was the idea of traveling, right? Yes, physical travel, which I want you to talk about. I want you to talk about both
Mhm.
travel, traditional physical traveling, where you get out and you pack your bags and get on a plane and explore these worlds, but
Yes.
also traveling in your mind and in your heart and in your soul and your imagination.
Mhm.
So please, let's talk about traveling. Because I know
Yes.
it's a great passion of yours.
Mhm. Well, for me, what I'm reading, whatever I'm reading, could be fiction novels,
Mm-hmm,
um,
mm-hmm,
or poetry books, or even a memoir.
mm-hmm,
Those those books transport me into a new world.
mm-hmm.
Um, when I was growing up, when I was a little girl, like little, I would go into my parents' closet of all places,
Okay.
and I would take a book with me, um, and I would just sit in there and read for hours.
Oh.
And everyone would say, "Oh, where's Krystle? Where's Krystle?" And then they would find me with a book in my parents' closet just
That's
reading.
adorable.
Yeah. So yeah, books have always been, they represent little worlds to me. Um, so I was having this conversation earlier about digital books, Kindle and all that stuff versus physical books.
Okay.
And for me, if I'm going to read a book that is like maybe self-help or spiritual or some sort of inspiration in that regard, I don't mind having an ebook. But a
Mm.
physical book
Okay.
that, yeah, anything outside of that category of like, self-help and all that stuff. I like to have a physical book because it literally represents a world in my hands.
Oh my goodness. Yes.
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 So yeah, for me, that's how, if I'm not able to physically travel, then I just open a book and I'm immediately in a new place.
That is beautiful. And
Yeah.
what's even more beautiful is the fact that you are contributing to this
Mm,
world which has inspired you
yeah.
since you were a little girl. The fact
Yeah.
that you are writing books which are going to transport us.
Mhm.
I think that's the most beautiful.
Yeah, that's my goal too, is to really, I mean, my dream would be also to write novellas in
Mhm.
addition to poetry. Um, so yeah, just these stories where you're transported into, you know, summer in a different country where these two lovers are falling in love and you just get to be there
Yeah,
right with them. Yes.
of course. Of course. My goodness. And you have it in you. I know you
Mm.
do. You have it in you, so we'll be waiting.
Yes.
Before I continue with these questions about your love affairs, you have an existing love affair, which is with your harp. Tell us about your harp.
My harp, yes. I
Mm,
love the harp so
I
much.
know you. I know you do.
Uh, um, so the harp is a beautiful instrument.
It is.
It is an instrument of the angels.
Mhm.
And when I sit down at my harp, I just am again in this new world with the music, with the feeling of the harp resting on my shoulder, the feeling of the strings, the sound, everything. It's just incredible.
It's so beautiful.
Thank you.
And it reminds me of every image that you've created on Instagram is divine. But there's one where you are wearing this light blue dress
Mm.
and you're playing the harp. Tell us, and for those of you who haven't seen these, I'll post everything in the show notes.
Mm.
Tell us about that creation.
Yes.
With a harp, I think you were by the water.
Mhm.
Even made it feel more angelic. Tell how that came to be.
Yes. So I actually collaborated with a jewelry brand
Mhm.
to create this beautiful campaign film for them. So I was sent a small collection of rings and earrings, and was just kind of told to create. They trusted me and my vision, so that was very
Oh,
nice.
that's always wonderful. Mhm.
Yes, yes. So I came up with this concept of this princess in this beautiful gown
Mhm.
who is wandering around in nature, and then she comes across this box of jewels.
Mhm.
And those jewels give her the energy, the inspiration to create magic, to create music in the woods. And it's just this beautiful flow of, she finds the jewels and then she wanders around, comes across the harp,
Mhm.
which is right by the water. And the jewels give her the magic to create music without even knowing how. She just sits down and she plays the harp.
Oh my goodness. I loved it when I saw it, but now that you've told me what the story is, I love it even more.
Mm.
So beautiful.
Yes, it was so fun to create.
So beautiful. Thank you. Oh, I'm lost. Okay, where were we? Um,
Love affair.
yes, I had asked you about your love affair with a country.
Oh, I didn't choose a country. Yeah.
I didn't even let you. Yes. In a different tangent.
You and I chose books, the harp. Yes.
Mhm.
So my country of choice, my forever love will be Nigeria, of course.
Yes,
Um,
that's the open love, the love that everyone gets to know about. Yeah.
yes.
Hmm.
But if I had to choose of the places I've been to, I would choose Spain,
Mm.
my country, for the love affair. Mhm.
Spain is beautiful.
Yes. The
Yes.
people, the food, the music, the language. Yeah. Barcelona, the architecture.
Hmm.
Yes, everything. I love Spain.
I can see you and staying
Yeah.
there happily in love together. Yes, I can see it. So we've talked about you being a writer extensively. if you were going to have an affair with Martin, who would it be?
Well, this writer is one that I know you love too. Pablo Neruda.
Oh my goodness. Yes.
Mhm. His poetry, I feel that his poetry honestly transformed how I experience love.
Wow.
Um, because to be able to write about a lover the way that he wrote about his lovers is just incredible. It shows a true appreciation for the woman, and for me that allows me to appreciate my partner.
Mm.
And yeah, just I picture myself as being someone that he's writing to.
That,
And I,
that's the thing with his poetry. He makes you feel this sense of adoration,
yeah.
almost worship. It's like he adores the woman
Mhm.
that he's
Yeah.
writing to and about.
Yes.
One of my favorite lines from him, I can't quote it verbatim, but said, I long to do with you what spring does with cherry blossoms.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Okay,
Yeah.
I'll go on to the next one because yes, I always have a lot to. Um, it's not that I don't have anything against modernity, modern times, but
Mhm.
I feel when it comes to love and romance, um, poets, writers, men, women of bygone eras, we have we cannot compare.
Mm.
Their devotion to love and expression and romance. I feel the gift is that because they came before us, we have the opportunity to be inspired by
Mm.
the lovers of yesteryear.
Mhm. Very
Because
much so.
I don't know how impressed they would be if we were looking upon us at this time in history. So I'll leave it there. Okay, if you are going to have a love affair with a car, what car would that be?
A car. Well, my car of choice is one that is my favorite car that I hope to own one day.
Mhm.
It's called a Nissan Figaro. I don't know if you're familiar.
I'm not.
No, it's not many people have heard of it. Every time I mention it, people have to like look it up because
I'll have to look it up too.
um, it was produced in I think 1991 and maybe 1992 as well. So super limited edition and
Okay.
not gain popularity globally.
Okay.
So you can find it kind of if you're walking around the streets of London, you might come across one.
Oh.
Um, yes, I
Um,
saw a pink one the last time I was,
oh.
which is the color I want. So yeah, it's this really cute vintage inspired car. So keep in mind it was made in 1991. So obviously not vintage, but it was made to look like a vintage car. Um, so it's very, very cute. So for my love affair, I imagine like a summer in Europe with the
Mhm.
top down,
Mhm.
and I'm just enjoying the breeze
Of
on my
course
skin.
you are. Of course you are. Oh my goodness. I love this so much. Okay. I have to look that up. Uh,
Yes.
Yes, and I'll put it in the show notes for the rest of us because I don't know what car that is. Um, if you are going to have an affair with a dessert.
Desserts. Um, Something that is moist and delicious.
Works.
um, their dulce de leche cake
Mhm.
or like molten chocolate cake.
Mm.
You know, the one that oozes when
Oh
you,
my god, yes. Oh, that is so good.
yeah.
That is perfect.
Mhm.
Okay. If you're going to have an affair with a cocktail, what cocktail would
Ooh, a cocktail. Um, Definitely my favorite cocktail,
it
which is a Manhattan.
be? Okay. Hmm.
Yes.
Well, you're in Manhattan, so that works.
Um, I love it tastes like sophistication. The flavors are beautiful. It's very like spirit heavy, as they say, but it's a beautiful drink. So,
I agree.
mhm.
If you were going to have a love affair with a scent, what scent would that
A scent that would definitely be anything floral.
be?
Um, my perfume that I wear is Flower Bomb.
Like
Yeah,
turtle, I think.
yeah,
Okay. Hmm.
Flower Bomb. And then I love not wearing but smelling masculine scents.
Oh yes. Oh my goodness. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like tobacco, leather,
Hmm. Hmm.
like that kind. Yes, I love.
I
So,
know I purposely choose my husband's scents so that I can smell them on him. So yes, yeah, that's that. Yeah, I'm with you there. And I think about a hotel, or
mm,
not a restaurant, because the restaurant will be the smell of food in there. So it's a hotel. It's not even a bar. For me, it's a hotel. I think about a hotel,
like the lobby or
a
something.
lobby. Yes,
Okay.
maybe there's a piano playing in the background, and maybe there are men smoking cigars, and there's
Mhm.
a mix of scents in the air.
Mm,
And it's usually the male, the masculine scents always override the feminine ones. So
yeah.
that's what I'm thinking about as you're talking about this. Oh, I love it. Oh my goodness. Okay. If you are going to have an affair with a designer, as in not the person, well, if it's the person too fine, but the design house, their aesthetic, who,
Yes.
whose house, which house would that be?
Um, that would be Vera Wang.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mentioned I love her fashion films.
Oh, yeah.
I
Oh,
love,
yes. Her fashion films,
mhm,
very artistic. That
yes,
is, yes.
I love her dresses. Eli Saab as well.
Oh, yes.
Just like the glittering beauty of the dresses.
Yes.
I
The
absolutely adore her.
Eternal Princess. Yes, I can
Yes.
see that. I can see that. That is so. I, I don't know what I was expecting. I wasn't expecting that, so that's a pleasant surprise.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am truly very pleasant surprise. Um, if you are going to have an affair with a fruit, what fruit would
Mm, it's a good question. I love fruits. There's so many fruits that I love. I would probably choose a fig,
Mm,
um, because they are the most poetic fruit in my eyes.
mm,
The shape, um, how they look. They're in a lot of different artworks as well.
Mhm.
Yeah, so fig for sure.
That's beautiful. Um, if you were going to have an affair with a language, what language would that be?
The language. Um, well, even though French is the language of love, I would choose Spanish.
Mm.
Um, and not just because I love Spain, because I love France too.
Oh,
but but yeah, there's something that is very sensual about the Spanish language that I don't think exists in other languages.
yes, that's
Um, yeah, so Spanish.
wonderful.
Yeah.
Um, if you're going to have an affair with a flower, what flower would
Ooh,
that
a
be?
rose.
Yeah,
Yes, a
of
rose.
course. Mhm.
There are some things. There are some things that are considered either cliche,
Mhm.
or some people might say classic, but really they mean like a
Mhm.
little bit more typical.
Mhm.
Um, but there's nothing more beautiful than a rose.
I agree. You know, I agree with you.
Yeah, it's not cliche in any way, shape, or form. There's nothing more beautiful.
I agree with
I don't know how God shaped this flower, but it's just perfect. It is just perfect.
you. Oh,
And I love how different it can look in different stages of bloom and the different colors. I love the word rose. I also really love that it's like this soft, delicate thing, but then it has
sorry.
thorns, yeah, to warn its enemies.
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
So it's just like essentially the embodiment of a woman, really.
It really is.
So
You know, I agree.
yes,
You know, I agree. Oh my goodness. Okay, for the last one, if you are going to have an affair with a season, what season would
a season. That would be fall.
that?
Fall is my favorite season. Yes, October is my favorite month actually for the season of fall. Um, it's just like this beautiful relief from the heat of summer,
Mm. Yes.
and the air is crisp in just about any location you go to. Um, and yeah, it's just, we're all kind of like gearing up to experience the end of the year, and everyone's in good spirits, and it's just, it's,
Celebrations, all of it. Yes.
yes.
That fall is my favorite season too.
Mhm.
Well, we have come to the end of a delightful, beautiful time together.
Yes, we have.
Thank you so much. Um, Once again, I'll leave your links below because even though your books aren't already, I'm going to start talking about them because I can't wait. So we'll be waiting with bated breath for your books to be released because the poems you read to us so beautiful. So thank you. Thank you for you. Thank you for spending time with us. Thank you for being my very first guest.
Yes.
Thank you for launching this ship.
I'm so honored to be your first guest. You have no idea. Like, I'm excited for your journey and being able to share this space with other women. It's going to be incredible.
Thank you so much. So, ladies, we have come to the end of our very first luxuriously romantic affair. Bye.
Bye.